ExamPrep.School. Wyoming Property and Casualty Insurance Producer Exam code 12-WY-6, or OP-WY-06. There are 4 practice exams in this series. This video covers Practice Exam 1. The first 20 questions are free. In this video, we will be covering the following major categories for Practice Exam 1. Casualty, insurance terms and related concepts. Casualty, policy provisions. Casualty, types of policies, bonds, and related terms. Property, insurance terms and related concepts. Property, policy provisions and contract law. Property, types of policies. WY statutes common to property and casualty only. UY statutes pertinent to casualty only. WY statutes, rules, and regs. Let's walk through the format. I'll read each question and its choices. Let's get started. Question 1. Which best characterizes the peril coverage provided by the homeowner's H-02 form? A. Open peril coverage for dwelling and named peril coverage for personal property. B. Named peril coverage for dwelling and personal property. C. Named peril coverage for dwelling and open peril coverage for personal property. D. Open peril coverage for both dwelling and personal property. A countdown circle appears in the top right. Once it completes, the answer is revealed. You can pause at any time if you'd like longer to think. If you'd like additional practice covering more topics, see the description for our book. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is that H-02 provides coverage only for specific perils listed in the policy for both the dwelling and personal property. It does not offer open peril protection under either coverage section. Reason A is not correct. This describes H-03, which offers open peril protection for the dwelling, but named peril for personal property, not H-02. Reason C is not correct. No homeowner's form offers named peril on dwelling and open peril on personal property. H-02 uses named perils for both. Reason D is not correct. H-02 does not provide open peril coverage for either dwelling or personal property. It is strictly named perils. Question 2. Under a homeowner's H-03 form, which property is insured on an open peril basis? A. Personal property only. B. Dwelling and other structures. C. Other structures only. D. Personal property and loss of use. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is that H-03 provides open peril coverage automatically for the dwelling and other structures. Personal property remains on a named peril basis under this form. Reason A is not correct. H-03 does not extend open peril protection to personal property. That remains named peril. Reason C is not correct. Only the dwelling and other structures are covered on an open peril basis in H-03. Not other structures alone, since dwelling is also included. Reason D is not correct. Loss of use is a coverage extension, not an open peril coverage category, and personal property is named peril under H-03. Question 3. Which homeowner's form provides open peril coverage for both the dwelling and personal property? A. H-02. B. H-03. C. H-04. D. H-05. The correct answer is D. The correct answer is that H-05 provides comprehensive open peril coverage for the dwelling, other structures, and personal property, unlike other forms where personal property is named peril. Reason A is not correct. H-02 is a named peril form, so it does not provide open peril coverage for any section. Reason B is not correct. H-03 provides open peril coverage only for the dwelling and other structures, not personal property. Reason C is not correct. H-04 is for renters and provides named peril coverage for personal property only, with no dwelling coverage. Question 4. The homeowners? H-04 tenant broad form provides coverage for which of the following? A. The dwelling structure. B. Personal property on a named peril basis. C. Interior improvements and betterments only. D. Personal property on an open peril basis. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is that H04 is designed for renters and covers the tenant's personal property against only those perils specifically named in the policy. It does not insure the building itself. Reason A is not correct. Tenants do not insure the dwelling structure under H04. That remains the landlord's responsibility. Reason C is not correct. Improvements and betterments may be covered under a special endorsement, but H04 primarily covers personal property. Reason D is not correct. H04 does not provide open peril protection. It restricts coverage to perils specifically named in the policy. Question 5. In the homeowners 06 unit owners form, which coverage part ensures the insured's improvements and betterments to the dwelling? A. Coverage C. B. Coverage B. C. Coverage A. D. Coverage D. The correct answer is C. The correct answer is that coverage A in H06 applies to the insured's interest in the building's interior walls, fixtures, and improvements, while other coverages address personal property, loss of use, and liability. Reason A is not correct. Coverage C insures personal property, not improvements and betterments. Reason B is not correct. Coverage B applies to other structures, not unit improvements and betterments. Reason D is not correct. Coverage D covers loss of use, not the insured's dwelling improvements. Question 6. After a hailstorm damaged the shingles on a historic home, valued at $350,000, the owner's policy, H08 is triggered, which describes how the insurer will settle the loss to the roof. A. Actual cash value after depreciation for the roof. B. Replacement cost without deduction for wear and age. C. Agreed value based on the home's market price. D. Full replacement cost if roof replaced within a year. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is based on the modified coverage features of H08, which limit dwelling and roof coverage to actual cash value, applying depreciation for age and wear. Reason B is not correct. H08 does not provide replacement cost settlement without depreciation. It limits reimbursement to actual cash value. Reason C is not correct. Agreed value settlement is not a feature of the H08 form. It pays actual cash value. Reason D is not correct. H08 does not convert to full replacement cost coverage after a set period. Question 7. A homeowner conveyed the fee simple title of a residence but retained a life estate. After fire damaged the structure, the homeowner submitted a claim under Coverage A. How does insurable interest apply when settling the loss? A. Insurer will deny because fee simple interest no longer exists. B. Insurer will only pay if the remainder interest holder approves. C. Insurer will pay because a life estate retains insurable interest. D. Insurer will reduce payment to reflect absence of full ownership. The correct answer is C. The correct answer reflects that insurable interest must exist at the time of loss, and retaining a life estate constitutes insurable interest under Coverage A. Reason A is not correct. Conveying fee simple title does not eliminate insurable interest when a life estate is retained. Reason B is not correct. Approval by the remainder interest holder is not required to establish insurable interest for the life tenant. Reason D is not correct. Insurer will not reduce payment because a life estate alone provides full insurable interest at loss. Question 8. A homeowner's HO policy lists $300,000 as the Coverage A limit. A detached garage suffers hurricane damage. Under coverage B, what is the maximum the insurer will pay for the garage? A. $15,000. B. $75,000. C. $30,000. D. $300,000. The correct answer is C. The correct answer is based on the standard coverage B provision that provides a separate limit equal to 10% of the coverage A dwelling limit. Reason A is not correct. $15,000 would represent 5% of coverage A, not the required 10%. Reason B is not correct. $75,000 represents 25% of coverage A, exceeding the standard 10% limit. Reason D is not correct. Coverage B does not pay the full coverage limit. It is capped at a percentage of coverage A. Question 9. Which peril is covered under the dwelling property DP1 basic form? A. Weight of ice, snow, or sleet. B. Vandalism or malicious mischief. C. Discharge of water from a plumbing system. D. Lightning. The correct answer is D. The correct answer is lightning, because the DP1 basic form is a named perils policy that ensures only fire, lightning, and internal explosion. Other perils such as weight of snow or water discharge are not included. Reason A is not correct. Weight of ice, snow, or sleet is not a named peril under DP1 and appears only in broader forms. Reason B is not correct. Vandalism or malicious mischief is not insured by DP1 basic form and requires a broader form endorsement. Reason C is not correct. Discharge of water from a plumbing system is excluded under DP1 and covered only under DP2 or DP3 with specific perils. Question 10. Which peril is covered under the dwelling property DP2 broad form but not under the DP1 basic form? A. Fire. B. Hail. C. Lightning. D. Internal explosion. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is hail because DP2. Broad form adds named perils like windstorm or hail that are not included in the limited DP1 basic form, which ensures only fire, lightning, and internal explosion. Reason A is not correct. Fire is one of the 3 perils covered by DP1 and is not unique to DP2. Reason C is not correct. Lightning is included under DP1 and is not newly added by DP2. Reason D is not correct. Internal explosion is one of DP1's covered perils and not specific to DP2. Question 11. Which peril is specifically excluded under the dwelling property DP3 special form? A. Fire damage. B. Weight of ice, snow, or sleet. C. Volcanic eruption. D. Gradual deterioration or wear and tear. The correct answer is D. The correct answer is gradual deterioration or wear and tear, because DP3 special form is open perils for direct physical loss except for specified exclusions, including any deterioration that occurs over time. Reason A is not correct. Fire damage is covered under DP3 as a direct physical loss unless specifically excluded. Reason B is not correct. Weight of ice, snow, or sleet is a named peril covered under DP3's open perils approach unless excluded elsewhere. Reason C is not correct. Volcanic eruption is expressly covered under DP3's special form coverage. Question 12. Which of the following is included in coverage A, dwelling, under the dwelling property forms? A. Materials and supplies on the premises used to construct an attached addition. B. Swimming pool permanently in the ground. C. Detached storage shed not described in the policy. D. Landscaping including trees and shrubs. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is materials and supplies on the premises used to construct an attached addition, because coverage A ensures the dwelling and any attached structures, including building materials on site awaiting installation. Reason B is not correct. A swimming pool is not part of the dwelling structure and falls under coverage B or is excluded. Reason C is not correct. A detached storage shed is not attached to the dwelling and is covered only under coverage B if described. Reason D is not correct. Landscaping items such as trees and shrubs are not part of the dwelling structure and are covered under coverage C if at all. Question 13. A homeowner purchases a DP3 dwelling policy with a coverage A limit of $300,000. A detached tool shed, other structure, is completely destroyed by a covered peril. If no endorsements apply, how much will the insurer pay under coverage B for the tool shed? A. $5,000. B. $20,000. C. $30,000. D. $300,000. The correct answer is C. Coverage B under dwelling forms provides other structures coverage equal to 10% of coverage A. 10% of $300,000 is $30,000, which is the limit available for the tool shed. Reason A is not correct. Calculating 5% of the dwelling limit yields $15,000, not $5,000. So this understates the actual limit. Reason B is not correct. 20% of coverage A would be $60,000, not $20,000, so this figure is not based on the correct percentage. Reason D is not correct. The full coverage. A limit does not apply to other structures, so the entire dwelling limit is not available for the tool shed. Question 14. An insured carries a DP2 dwelling policy with a coverage A limit of $250,000. Personal property in the home is completely damaged by a covered peril. What is the maximum amount payable under coverage C? A. $62,500. B. $125,000. C. $200,000. D. $250,000. The correct answer is B. Dwelling forms designate personal property coverage, coverage C, at 50% of the coverage A limit. 50% of $250,000 equals $125,000, which is the maximum payable. Reason A is not correct. This amount reflects 25% of the coverage limit rather than the correct 50%, so it underestimates the limit. Reason C is not correct. Using 80% of the dwelling limit is inaccurate, as personal property is not covered at that level under standard forms. Reason D is not correct. Providing the full dwelling limit for personal property exceeds the coverage C percentage and is not correct. Question 15. Under the building and personal property coverage form, which of the following is considered covered property? A. Land on which the building is located. B. Outdoor signs attached to the building within 100 feet of the premises. C. Growing crops situated outside the described premises. D. Tenant-owned personal property located off premises. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is that outdoor signs attached within 100 feet are covered because the form includes permanently installed fixtures as part of the building. Reason A is not correct. Land itself is not considered covered property under this form. Reason C is not correct. Growing crops outside the premises are excluded unless specifically endorsed. Reason D is not correct. Tenant property located off the described premises is not covered by this form. Question 16. According to the building and personal property coverage form's list of property not covered, which item is expressly excluded from coverage? A. Money. B. Office furniture belonging to the insured. C. Machinery used in business operations. D. Building foundations. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is money. as it is specifically listed among the types of property not covered under the form's exclusions. Reason B is not correct. Office furniture is covered as business personal property on the premises. Reason C is not correct. Machinery used in operations is covered under either building or personal property limits. Reason D is not correct. Building foundations are included as part of the covered building. Question 17. Which peril is covered under the causes of loss broad form, but excluded under the causes of loss basic form? A. Weight of ice, snow, or sleet. B. Explosion. C. Sinkhole collapse. D. Vandalism. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is weight of ice, snow, or sleet because the broad form adds that peril, whereas the basic form does not include it. Reason B is not correct. Explosion is covered under both basic and broad forms. Reason C is not correct. Sinkhole collapse is included in both basic and broad perils lists. Reason D is not correct. Vandalism is a covered peril under both basic and broad forms. Question 18. Under the business income with extra expense coverage form, which statement about waiting periods for extra expense losses is correct? A. There is no waiting period for extra expense coverage. B. A 72-hour waiting period applies to extra expense coverage. C. A 24-hour waiting period applies only to extra expense coverage. D. Extra expense coverage begins after a 48-hour waiting period. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is that there is no waiting period for extra expense, whereas business income losses are subject to the specified waiting period. Reason B is not correct. The 72-hour waiting period applies to business income, not extra expense. Reason C is not correct. There is no separate 24-hour waiting period for extra expense coverage. Reason D is not correct. No 48-hour waiting period is specified for extra expense coverage. Question 19. An insured bakery carries a commercial property policy with business income coverage without extra expense. A fire on January 1st interrupts operations until repairs are completed on January 31st. During the interruption, the bakery incurs $75,000 in net income losses and spends $15,000 on temporary ovens to resume partial operations. Under the business income without extra expense form, how much will the insurer pay for the bakery's loss? A. $75,000. B. $15,000. C. $90,000. D. $0. The correct answer is A. The form covers net income losses incurred during the restoration period, but excludes extra expenses such as temporary ovens, so only the $75,000 net income loss is reimbursable. Reason B is not correct. Expense for temporary ovens is considered extra expense, which this form excludes. Reason C is not correct. Combining net income loss and extra expense exceeds the form's coverage because extra expenses are not covered. Reason D is not correct. Business income without extra expense still covers net income losses, so reimbursing $0 would ignore covered loss. Question 20. A manufacturing facility's commercial property policy includes business income coverage. A windstorm on April 1st forces a shutdown. The facility resumes limited operations on May 5th and returns to full capacity on July 1st. Under the period of restoration definition, when does the restoration period end for business income loss coverage? A. May 5th. B. June 1st. C. July 1st. D. August 1st. The correct answer is C. The period of restoration ends when the damaged property is fully repaired and ready for normal use, which occurs on July 1st. Reason A is not correct. Resuming limited operations does not end the restoration period because full repairs are not complete. Reason B is not correct. An arbitrary intermediate date does not coincide with the property's readiness for normal use. Reason D is not correct. An extended period under coverage applies after restoration, not as the restoration end date. Enjoyed this practice test? Tap like, hit subscribe, and share it with a classmate. Got a question we should tweak? Comment below, we read them all. Find full practice exam books in the description or at ExamPrep.School.